Christians have the Ten Commandments, and members of the Temple of Satan have the seven tenets of the Temple of Satan. Let's talk about what those seven tenets are. Let's go over them and see if they are actually something that you could find yourself agreeing with and living with and believing is true. So that's really the question. When you talk about Satan, and you hear something with the title, the Temple of Satan, it has a stigma to it, and people automatically block it out as something very evil and scary, right? So let's actually go over each one of them and see just how scary they are, how evil they are, and if it's even something that maybe you would be willing to live your life by. And be honest. Let's not lie to ourselves. Let's do it. So we have two different organizations that do get confused and mixed up sometimes. We have the Temple of Satan and we have the Church of Satan. Okay? They're very similar, but the Church of Satan believes in satanic magic, as to where the Temple of Satan does not believe in that stuff. Another thing is that the Temple of Satan is a very big organization. It's a nationwide organization, as far as I know. They have a lot of members, as to where the Church of Satan is very small in comparison and not as active in political issues. So they also do not believe in God, and they also do not believe in the devil. So, it doesn't matter what you say, how you use the Bible. It's not going to be a good tool or weapon to use against anyone that is a member of the Temple of Satan, because they don't believe in any of that stuff. It has no power over them, no energy over them, nothing. So they just simply believe in reality, okay? Now, like I said, they are very active in political issues, humanitarian things, civil rights, stuff like that. They are very interested in protecting humanity. It's a very interesting thing. It's not what you think it is. I'm not saying, hey, go join them or anything. I'm just saying it's not what you think it is. And that's the whole point, right? Is to get correct information and correct understanding, because Hollywood paints them as these evil, demonic people that are trying to kill your babies and sacrifice your wives and rape them and have their way with, your family, and cast spells upon you and, bring Satan up out of the depths of the hell and take over the world, right? But that is not an accurate depiction. It's a joke. It's laughable. Anyways, let's talk about the seven tenets. Let's go over them. Tenet 1 of the Temple of Satan. One should strive to act with compassion and empathy towards all creatures in accordance with reason. So the question is, do you think that is something you could live your life by? Do you agree with that? Do you think that one should strive to act with compassion and empathy towards all creatures in accordance with reason? Or does that seem something evil to you? Does that seem very demonic to you? That's the question. This is what the members of the Temple of Satan believe. Tenet 2 of the Temple of Satan. The struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. Do you agree with that? Do you think that is a noble pursuit? Do you think that's something that you could live your life by? Once again, the struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. Does that seem like something that's evil and vile and demonic to you, or does that seem like something that you could get on board with? Be honest. Tenet 3 of the Temple of Satan. One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Do you believe that? Do you concur? One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. Now remember, this is something that the members of the Temple of Satan live their lives by. They believe this. Do you agree with it? Tenet 4 of the Temple of Satan. The freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego your own. Do you agree with that? Do you think that the freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend? Do you believe in the First Amendment? To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego your own? Do you agree with that? That's what we're asking ourselves here. You know, do we agree with the members of the Temple of Satan? We're just being honest with ourselves here because, you know, we've been told over and over again by Christians in Hollywood that these people are out to kill our babies and rape our wives and summon the devil up out of the earth to take over the world. Tenet 5 of the Temple of Satan. Beliefs should conform to our best scientific understanding of the world. We should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit our beliefs. Do you agree with that? Do you think that we shouldn't distort scientific facts to fit our beliefs? Or do you think it's the other way around? Or do you just pick and choose? So this is what we're asking ourselves here is, do we agree with members of the Temple of Satan? If so, let me know. Tenet 6 of the Temple of Satan. People are fallible. If we make a mistake, we should do our best to rectify it and resolve any harm that may have been caused. That doesn't sound evil or scary. Do you agree with that? People are fallible. If we make a mistake, we should do our best to rectify it and resolve any harm that may have been caused. So, if you're a Christian, I want to know, do you believe in that? Does that sound similar to the teachings of Christ? I mean, is there anything bad about what the members of the Temple of Satan believe so far? Let me know. Tenet 7 of the Temple of Satan. Every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word. Do you agree with that? Do you think that that is a good way to live your life, to look at the world, do you agree that the spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word? That means, hey, regardless of what is wrote, what is said, right? No matter what people say, religions, politics, all this stuff, it should never get in the way of wisdom and compassion and justice, right? Because people can come along and say a whole lot of garbage and nonsense and try to convince people otherwise with their philosophies and their theologies and their theories, right? But regardless of all of those theories and, politics and religions, we should never let that trump or override compassion, wisdom, and justice. That's what this is saying. Right? So do you think that's a good way to live your life or a bad way to live your life? That's 7. That's all 7 tenets of the Temple of Satan. So let me know what you think about that. Just be honest. So that was the 7 tenets of the Temple of Satan. That's what they agree upon. That's how they agree to live their lives, to strive to live up to those tenets. So I'm not saying go become a member. What I'm saying is, do you think that it's bad? Do you think that that organization is a bad organization? despite what preachers and ministers try to tell you, despite how Hollywood tries to project Satanists. Most of them, like I said, they don't even believe in religion. So it's kind of funny how, the temple of Satan is considered a religion, but they are. And they are just very proactive in civil rights, constitutional rights, human rights, things like that. They're advocates for freedom. That's basically what it is. It's a freedom church. I guess you could say if freedom is your religion, then perhaps that's what they are sort of trying to encompass there. They're trying to be a religion of freedom. And, when it comes down to it, when you read these tenets, it's almost like the founding fathers were there when they were written, because it's basically all about freedom and treating each other with compassion, allowing people to be and live how they want to be and live regardless of your opinion of it. Like it said in the last tenet, regardless of how you think or feel about somebody's beliefs, you should never let the spirit of compassion or wisdom and justice be dwindled because of that, right? You should never let that be stifled. You should always let the spirit of compassion and wisdom and justice prevail, always, because it's the best thing for mankind, right? And the Baphomet is not the devil, okay? The Baphomet is not a symbol of Satan. I know that the Temple of Satan made a statue of the Baphomet with two children at its feet, and they wanted to place it next to the Ten Commandments. I forget what state this was in, but anyways, they were terrifying the superstitious, dogmatic Christians with their symbols, and that's what it's all about. You see, Christians are allowed to put up statues of Jesus and the Ten Commandments everywhere, but they never want to let the Satanists, which is another religion, it's just another religion, they never want to let them put a statue up anywhere. They never want to let them have freedom of religion. They never want to let them have the First Amendment, be able to exercise the First Amendment. They always want to stifle them, block them, and basically stop them from exercising their rights. That's what they're doing. And so after reading the seven tenets of what the members of the Church of Satan believe, do you think that is justified? Do you think that should be something that is allowed? Should we be able to say, I disagree with this religion, so I'm not going to let them have all of the rights that I have? Or is that some kind of a dictatorship, See, a lot of people want to say, America, freedom, 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 right? But then whenever you have a different belief than they do, a different religion, it's all of a sudden, no, you can't. No, we don't want that in our country. And it's going totally against what the founding fathers wanted for the country. They wanted everybody to have the same rights as everybody, right? They didn't want anybody to say, no, you can't. That's a dictatorship. That is a dictatorship when people are saying, no, you can't put your statue up, right? You can't represent your religion. Only we can represent our religion. That is not what the founding fathers meant for this country to be. They wanted everybody to have the same equal rights across the board. So in a way, we have in this country Christians sort of acting like the New World Order, right? They want to be the dominant, the only religion, right? Like the New World Order wants a one world religion. They want everybody the same. They are totally anti-individuality. They want the collective, right? So, that's how Christians act. They don't think that other people should have the same freedom and rights as them. Many of them will aggressively oppose anybody with a different religion or worldview. They get angry. Not all of them, obviously, but you got to admit, I mean, you have large groups that don't think that an organization like the Temple of Satan should have the same rights that they do. They think that they should not be able to put a statue up in their town to represent their religion, when the Christians are obviously allowed to have statues of their religion everywhere. And, you know, it's pretty much like a dictatorship, and it's kind of like a Hitler thing or a New World Order thing, right? So that's very unappealing, and that turns a lot of people off. Christianity is a dying religion. It is dying. And I don't know if it's because of the internet or what, but a lot of people are learning. So, you know, that's just another thing to think about. So that's all that I have for you on the 7 tenets of the Temple of Satan. I just thought it was interesting. I'm not saying go join. I just wanted to examine what the members of the Temple of Satan believe. And I hope that you thought it was interesting as well. If you haven't followed me, go ahead and follow me. Hit the like, make a comment. I appreciate it. Try to get me an algorithm a little bit more. And, you know, regardless, hey, I'm just going to keep talking about things that I think are interesting. It just doesn't matter, you know, if I ever, you know, blow up or anything. I don't care. I'm just doing what I find interesting. So hopefully you got something out of this and it was edifying in some way to you. So till next time, peace.